A disadvantage to using a plugin like this is that then you need to leave the plugin running while you are doing your custom post types. A cool thing about this one is that it has an export. It's going to look really boring right now because we don't have any to export. Oh, that's interesting. Did I make one and forgot it? Oh, okay. You would see these boxes full of code, and it would be all that code that I showed you on that other page. And you can copy it out, drop it in a plugin, hit save, disable this plugin, and you're ready to rock. Experimented with that. I find that it's nice to leave it running all the time because then I could just throw in a new meta box, and it just works. It's live, as it were. A disadvantage is that if I want to move my custom content type to another server, I either have to export the code or go rebuild it in the UI, which is kind of annoying. And a third option is this plugin, the Easy Custom Post Types, uses its own database tables. So you can copy the database tables from one server to another, and all your stuff is magically there. That really only works the first time. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting out of sync and having different fields on different servers if you didn't remember to copy the tables or something. So I don't run into this problem very often. It just doesn't come up. I build it on dev, I build it on live, I start running it and never come back. And it's just awesome. I'm going to go over meta boxes real quick. So meta boxes. Meta boxes are very simple. There is a name, the post type you want to add it to, the context, which is normal, advanced, or side, the priority, which is default, high, core, or low, and then optionally some post or page IDs that you want this one to show up on. I've never used that feature, and I haven't been able to figure out why it's there, but probably because somebody wanted it sometime. We'll go over adding one later. Then taxonomies. The interesting thing about taxonomies is that the ability to create new ones has been around for a long time. And so it's not necessarily unique to custom post types. If you already have a custom taxonomy plugin that you're using, you can keep using it, and you can apply it to your new custom post types. This one just happens to include that functionality. And similar to a content type, there's a name, the object, which is the post type you want to attach this to, singular label, plural label, whether or not they're hierarchical, whether or not you want to show a tag cloud, whether or not you want it in the nav menus, what your slug is, and again, I always leave this at the default, and disable with front. What's interesting about hierarchical with taxonomies is that it dramatically changes the UI in the admin interface. If you choose hierarchical, it looks like categories. And when you create them, they're in a list, and they have checkboxes to choose from, and you can create child and parent whatevers. If it's not hierarchical, it looks like tags, and it acts like tags. So there aren't checkboxes, and all of your previous choices you ever made are not just listed there. It's an empty box, and you're just typing in whatever you want to type. For this reason, I usually choose hierarchical because I want my past choices to be there for me to just go check, 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 and be done. Functionally speaking, that's only a UI choice. On the back end, it doesn't matter. How you query them, how you choose to render them, how you compare against them, all the code's exactly the same whether you choose hierarchical or not. Well, you know what, I shouldn't say that. Because they're hierarchical, you can do things like order by the number that they're listed. I don't think I ever have. All my choices in this regard have been based on admin UI. All right, so in summary, there's the custom post type, which has a bunch of options. You fill it out, and it creates one for you. Then there are meta boxes, which allow you to add custom fields to that post type. And then sort of tangentially related are taxonomies, which you can associate with a content type and say things like genre and era and stuff like that. One more thing I want to cover. Under your WordPress settings, there's a permalinks area. When you create a new custom content type, very often WordPress will not be aware of it until you save your permalinks. You don't have to change them. Just go in and hit save. And that makes WordPress go review all of its code for content types and say, what do we have? I need to make my links for all this stuff. Oh, look, there's a new one. And away it goes. In this plugin we're using, when you make a new one, a thing at the top pops up and says, you should go save permalinks now. Not all plugins are going to do that. And of course, if you write your own, there's nothing going to tell you to go do that. There's been more than one occasion when I've created a content type, gone to use it, and it just doesn't work. And it's really annoying, and I can't figure out why. And then I go, I have to go save my permalinks. And then everything magically works, and it's great.